Welcome to day 8 of my personal transformation. This is the vision of the future discussion. There is a clear and important need to create a vision of your future when you begin a personal transformation journey. There are really 4 areas that I think require attention when creating a personal vision. So this video is going to talk about that. I will also talk about how meditation has helped me with this. I will talk about personal memory, and then I will conclude this video with a personal story of how one of my future visions of myself came true. So let's talk about the 4 areas that I think are important when considering establishing a vision of the future. First, visualizing the future. You need to spend a prolonged period of time. And when I say prolonged, I mean an hour or 2 in total silence, not distracted by anybody, no music, no TV, no phones, no reading, nothing. Just you and nature, you and a quiet place. And just think deeply about who you want to become. And this should not be a distant idea. This should be a complete visualization. Who am I? What am I going to become? What am I going to be like? And that leads me to the second one. Detail this visualization. You should probably do this visualization more than once. I would do it several times. In fact, you should continue to do it. And the visualization should become very detailed. Don't be afraid to make it so detailed that it becomes really specific. So specific that you will know when the transformation will happen, what you will look like, where you will be, what you could even imagine what you'll be wearing and who you will be with. And it's okay. I know that a transformation is a journey, but it's okay to visualize an actual event. Like you're walking out on stage to give some big presentation at some conference. That might be your evidence that something great is happening, or you're finishing a race, or you're stepping on the scale and you're noticing that you weigh, right? These are just ideas, or, whatever, or you pull up in your driveway in this smoking hot new car, or you cut the ribbon on a brand new boat, whatever and those are materialistic things, I realize, but it doesn't matter. The point is, whatever your dreams, whatever your goals are, visualize it. And I've got a couple really personal ones that involve my family that I visualized for the future about where we will be, what we'll be doing, who I will be with, what we'll be talking about, what we'll be wearing, what location we'll be in. So visualizing the future should be really detailed. When you become more focused on your future vision in this manner, you get really clear on your day-to-day activities. So I recommend this commitment that every morning you write down what you're going to do that day, or the most important thing you're going to do. And having a future vision really helps clarify that. So you know exactly what you're doing or what the goal is. So it'll help make decisions for you, or it'll impact your decision making as to what you do every day, what you should be focused on, what you decide to spend your time on. Becoming that vision of your future self requires you to make choices. It also requires you to be present, meaning you cannot allow yourself to become on autopilot. You have to be present and available, and you have to know exactly what you're doing and what choices you're making. Now, that's a perfect ideal you'll never achieve every day and every minute of the day. But if you have that vision of who you want to become, it'll really impact what you decide to spend your time on. Finally, targeted actions. So this is the 4th idea. When you set out to decide what I'm going to be doing, it'll also impact your daily actions. Instead of just aimlessly going about every day, you'll have a targeted plan. And if you don't have good actions to fulfill the future vision, you might create a task. Well, today I'm going to come up with 4 or 5 things I can do to get to my target, to my vision. So it'll really impact your day to day. Now, I call this the magnifying effect. What happens is let's say you're working your job and your job has very little to do with your future vision. You can find, your mind will find creative ways that while you're doing your other task, you can also be helping you accomplish your future vision at the same time. So you create a duplicative effort. So that way you're magnifying what you do through the day. So you're always focused on the future vision, even though it's doing something mundane or something unrelated. The best way to cement this future vision of yourself is through meditation. Now, there are many different meditation methods you can use, and I'm not going to offer one or the other. There's some guided meditations you can buy that actually talk about this future vision stuff. There's probably 7 or 8 well-known gurus on this topic, and you're welcome to go look at those. I mean, I've tried several of them, but more often than not, I just find a quiet, calm place and I just stay really still. Or I go for a long walk, and the purpose of the walk is to do nothing else other than engage myself in a future vision of what I'm going to be. And I try to think that through and get excited about it and try to describe that day to myself, envision the event, visualize it. And I do this periodically. This is not something you have to do every day, but having a meditative session, whether that's meditation by being quiet, being still, listening to something guided, or by taking a walk, whatever, it doesn't matter. Having some form of meditation to cement this future vision is important. And when I say cement the future vision, what I mean is you understand that future vision so well that it actually becomes similar to a memory. Think back of one of your most precious memories. I know you have a few. I've got a few. I can think back and I can remember that memory, and there are certain details of that memory that really stand out. There's very little difference between a memory and a vision, a creative view of what you're going to be one day. They do hit different parts of the brain. However, they impact the same things in our brain: emotions, behavioral response, all these things. So they impact the same thing. So really important, the more you know that vision, the more it'll become like a memory. So your mind will actually start viewing it as a memory. And that has a real cognitive benefit, or at least in my opinion. So I'll leave you with a story. One time, one of my visions was to run a marathon. So during my process of becoming a runner, I decided to have a vision of me finishing a marathon. And I'd spent a lot of time just sitting back and visualizing what the actual event was going to be like, what I was going to be wearing. And I visualized crossing the finish line, what that was going to feel like, what I would see, who was going to be there, what I'd be wearing, all of those things. I envisioned what I would be looking like. I envisioned all of that. So, and then there was one part of my vision that kept coming back to me, and it was strange. I had this vision of people wearing white shirts for some reason. And I don't remember exactly what was on those white shirts. I just remember there were family and friends in white shirts. And I didn't know if I'd be like dead, and then this is a vision of heaven, but like I died on the marathon. But that was always coming to my mind. Well, the day I finished the marathon, I crossed the finish line, barely beating this one woman in yellow spandex. But I crossed the finish line, and as I did so, I found my family, and there was a moment there where the moment felt eerily similar, almost exactly what my vision was over a year prior. My family was there almost in the exact position that I imagined them being in. And then some friends were there too. And what was interesting is our friends had bought white shirts and put the 365 Commitment logo on them and everybody was wearing those white shirts. So my vision of the future actually became very real. So that's interesting, right? Anyway, establish a vision of your future, and it'll go a long way to help you on your personal journey.